Hi everyone and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Friday the 21st of October 2022. I want to use the Aquarian Tarot by David Palladini for today's reading, and I just want to show you some of these cards. Very unusual with all the kind of ethereal looking faces here. This deck, I noticed, has been around since 1970. So it must be very popular to stay in print that long. But I don't know any of the backstory to this deck. I think the name fits as well, Aquarian Tarot, because it is so, unusual. And these faces kind of make you question what is right. Well, okay, so let's see what the cards have to say about Friday here. And I'm just being prompted to take 4 cards instead of 3. So let's see. First, we've got the 6 of Swords, a journey. And I'm getting your ducks in a row. Okay, that's an interesting extra meaning. Then we've got the 5 of Pentacles. So it's important that you take charge of your circumstances and that you pay attention and that you do get organized, because things may not be overly easy at the moment, and it's important that you show up and that you make the right choices, these 2 cards are saying. Next, we've got the 8 of Cups in reverse. So there may be something that you're even almost obsessive about at the moment. There may be an issue in your life which is causing you some inconvenience or pain, or it's troubling you. And rather than move on and say, okay, this didn't work, I feel the tendency via these 3 cards is to say, okay, I am absolutely not going to accept this. This is a no-no in my life. I'm going to throw everything I've got to make this situation work for me. And sometimes that works, but sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't work, because you've thrown so much of your self-will at it, it can be very painful. So the first thing I'm getting via these 3 cards is that you find yourself being compelled to do something and you feel overly intense about it. Take a breath, step back, and see what your other options are. Next, the 5 of Swords. Oh, wow. The 5 of Swords is about bullying and intimidation and competition that can have serious consequences. And this card was saying to me that you're able to get organized and know where you're at, find your footing really. And it's important to do that because it will be required. And here's the reason why it's required to be organized. I feel that there may be a you versus them situation, either in your work or in your relationships, where someone's going to tell you that you're in the wrong, that they're right, and whether that's the truth or not, that goes by the wayside, and this person becomes very invested in announcing their narrative, their version of the truth, and making that the status quo, which is very specific. So look out for anyone who's trying to paint you in a light that isn't accurate, or when you're going to see the estate agent or something official where contracts are involved and you're trying to read things over, but the person is pushing you and making the whole thing urgent and saying sign already. Watch out for those kind of things where someone's trying to pull the wool over your eyes for their convenience or gain or whatever it may be, at your detriment. And the cards are giving this warning saying, it's amazing and wonderful that you're so clued in on this day that you can see what's going on in institutions that you're involved with, your work, and in relationships. And in fact, you're so obsessed about getting to the truth that, okay, that's then where the willingness comes in to engage in conflict, which can be destructive. Looking at these cards, I think it's much better to use your insight and your keen eye on this day to solve problems for yourself so that you can continue on your journey, or that you feel like you're moving on in a way that's organized and very, I was going to say on brand, but on track with what the overall plan is. And that in itself, I think you tap into. You easily say, this is what I'm about, this is what's important to me, this is what I'm going to do on this day, whether it's work or my relationships or travel. And these are the things I don't want to engage with. And I think the things not to engage with list, at the top of that list should be pointless conflict with other people, because on this day there's a likelihood of people throwing their weight around and trying to make themselves feel big just to kind of satisfy their own egos. Instead, working through any career difficulties. And I was going to say looking at relationships and improving upon those, but I need to amend and edit that, because I feel it's much more about looking at the tendency to be obsessive and to find a way through that, how to manage that and overcome it, rather than relationships. Because with the Five of Swords, any intimate conversation or trying to get someone else to see your side or your point of view, I think it would be surprisingly disappointing on this day, even with people who are very close to you and inclined towards seeing your point of view. That versus thing comes in very strongly for me, and informing yourself as much as you can and being questioning what you can do in a situation rather than looking at other people. I think that's going to pay off much more. So avoid conflict and see where you can make improvements for yourself and in your own life. I feel like there's something else though. The Six of Swords, educating yourself through travel is a good idea, and also looking at what can I learn next? What am I interested in information-wise? That works. That information, whether it's just to learn for enjoyment or it's informing yourself on how to overcome obstacles in your practical life or your work, that is a good idea and can be very healing. The Eight of Cups in reverse. Oh yes, this is what I meant to do. When it's this way around, it's someone who has got a great life, but who's become disenchanted with it and who feels something's missing. It's like, I've got this great family and a great health, but I need to explore, I need to be an adventurer, so I need to go do that. So it's that unquestionable certainty that life has to be bigger and I'm going to make it that way. It's in reverse, so that feeling isn't there. In fact, the opposite. It's, I have a good life, something is missing, I have to claw and acquire and scrape and do everything I possibly can to fill this gap. And that thinking is the root of all problems, because fundamentally with that, you're coming from a place of lack and you need to get something in order to be okay. And when you realize that you already are okay, you can connect with your feelings, take a breath, and that's all you need. That's when that pressure goes away and the willingness to engage in conflict disappears. Because that is ego as well. I need to have this amazing experience in order to feel okay as a person. It's not true. And it builds you up, but it doesn't actually feed you within. It's not real nourishment. It's not sustainable. Okay, so the cards are being very specific in terms of their warning and what to avoid. The plus side of the day is you can really figure things out in terms of your own emotional behavior, your work and your circumstances. You can educate yourself and broaden your horizons. And I suppose even learn that engaging in conflict is optional. You can take it or leave it. And if someone's yelling at you, you can actually turn around and walk away. That is an option. So I think you make a lot of headway in that area. Number-wise, we've got 6 and 5, that's 11. And 8 is 19. And 5 is 24. 2 and 4 is 6. And 6 in numerology is a temporary opportunity. So it's the opportunity to problem solve and to understand things better. So for a light bulb moment to occur. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on Book Your Reading to order your reading with me. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.